Hi, I'm Kiwi.
And I'm Jarad.
And we are the two gentlemen, coming to you from that happy place.
Yes, we're back.
Jarad, how are you?
Good. I'm less claustrophobic this week. For some reason, there's more stuff in this garage, but I'm sitting next to 4 cases of out-of-date beer. You guys don't drink, do you?
No, we don't. We found it on the side of the road. Oh, actually, my son found it. It's like, 4 cases, so $9.60 worth of bottles. We just have to empty them.
You place it next to me, thank you. Even though they're out of date, I actually feel like cracking one open.
Well, look, I don't think it's going to kill you, Jarad.
I mean, how far out of date? I mean, is it just like best before? Isn't that just an advice?
Yeah, well,
it's not
beer's
really.
fermented anyway, right? Can't be that bad.
It's not like wine, though, I guess.
But it's his latest find, so we've got heaps of stuff in here, as you can see.
Yeah. Pair of new boots, size 12.
Yeah. Got a new Dyson vacuum cleaner. So we've got like 5. We've got a fleet of them. It's great. So when one goes flat, we just grab another one. All free, by the way.
Don't need to recharge them. Just throw it out. You're like a rich person. Yeah. It's like, I'm done with this. No, it's good. No, how about yourself, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm okay. Life's been really good to me. I'm always blessed. Although, I've got some other things going on, like with work, and I'll just be honest with everybody. I haven't had my booster, and I've got pressure from work to get it. I've got my concerns about it. So, whatever your opinions are on vaccines, I totally respect it. I've had 2 already, and I'm a bit hesitant to get the 3rd. So, that's where my mind has been lately.
A few stresses there.
Yeah.
Well, you could always, find something else to do.
Well, I've thought about it. So we'll see. I'd love to collect junk full time.
Yeah. You're halfway there. It's almost a shop here, really, like an unorganised shop.
A bazaar.
Yes, one of those. But, mate, I got a question for you. Is it ever too late? I just sort of made a little joke there, but is it ever too late to start something new?
Definitely not. I actually don't like that question at all.
Oh.
Yeah, because
well, fine.
I was asked that question by our dear friend.
Yeah.
And I was almost in shock. I was like, hang on, you can't ask that question.
Yeah.
What you're implying that, you're not capable of something at a certain age? No, don't say that. It's offensive. It's offensive to human consciousness.
Soapbox.
Well, you can tell I'm passionate, Jarad.
Yes.
So look, there's your answer. No.
Yeah, okay.
End of show. So
cool.
Thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you check our socials.
No, look, I actually asked that, and my answer is no as well. So I don't think it is. Life's about learning and trying new things. Of course, you're going to have some sort of, depending what it is, you might have some physical issues or things like that. But I mean, there's things, a lot of things you can overcome or train for. If it comes to physical and mental, you can train for that. Maybe there are a couple of things that, you might struggle with, but hey, have a go.
Yeah, and look, the things that you're saying that you might struggle with, they're usually physical things that are to do with age, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll never win Wimbledon.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's too late. Even a 25-year-old who hasn't never won Wimbledon is probably going to struggle. Even a top 200 player, it would be very hard. So, yeah, of course, I'm not saying anything's possible. This isn't a Disney film. But what I am saying is, for the average person, for the average task,
yes,
it's not too late.
No.
And I look at myself, I started skateboarding at 33. Now, I'm not, the kind of guy that does tricks or anything, but I can go forward on a skateboard and not kill myself. And
it's a bonus.
Yeah, the living part afterwards is the main bit. Yeah, so that is a bonus, Jarad. I started guitar at 37.
Yep.
And, I think I can safely say I'm mediocre now. I said that was my goal, and
we started a podcast in our 40s.
Exactly. And, we're not exactly professionals at this, but hey.
Yeah. Started an Instagram account somehow.
Did you? Oh, wow.
Well, trying to... But look, it's all about having a go, obviously. Like these smaller tasks. Like you said, I mean, there's massive tasks that you go, okay, well, that's never going to happen. I'm never going to, climb Mount Everest. But...
hang on a second.
Wait. Oh, I see that soapbox coming up.
Yeah, sorry. you don't think you could climb Mount Everest?
Look,
Because I think there are 60-year-old dudes that do that.
True. I probably used the wrong the wrong example there, but yeah. But I still think I probably couldn't do Mount Everest. I'm scared of heights. How do you overcome a fear?
You keep doing it.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think you inch a bit higher each time.
True, it's a slow burn. Then, yeah. But yeah.
Sorry, go on, Jared.
No, I was just anyway. Look, I got started to get freaking out. I was freaking out thinking about heights, and now I've lost my train of thought.
But let me ask it another way.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you shouldn't start something that you want to do? If you genuinely have passion to do something, and you do have the time, because let's face it, time's an important factor, is there a reason to not do it?
I think there's a million reasons. Millions probably. There are a lot of reasons that you can use as an excuse.
Yep.
So, look, I'm not going to try and go through them, but there's little reasons that in your mind can tell you, don't start that because, you've got to do the school pickup and you haven't got time to do something, or you got to do this and you haven't got, so you can talk yourself out of starting.
Sure.
So, and at the time that feels like reasons.
Mm-hmm.
When you, I would imagine when you look back on, and I look back on things that I didn't do as a younger person, and I look back and I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
I made an excuse.
Yeah.
I made an excuse that I had to do this, I had to do that. You didn't have to do anything.
No.
So yes, there are a lot of reasons why. Are they valid? That's each to their own, I guess.
So our dear friend who did post this question to me a few weeks ago, his reasoning for not trying something, and it was about a career change, was more financial. And that was completely understandable. To me, that's valid. Yep. To say, well, there's too much risk to take on at this point. I actually need this much money to survive.
I've got these commitments.
Yep. I've got family, etc. So yeah, I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But, for a lot of things, I don't think there's enough good reasons, enough valid reasons to say, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think of a point to come back to that, but I do agree because basically, the valid is the key. And some people might look at the financial thing and say, what, if I can earn this much money, doing this to cover myself while I do the new training or the new job change or whatever it might be. Some people can manage that. I mean, me personally, I'm a structured person when it comes to my employment. I like to know where I'm going. I like to know where, but some people don't. It doesn't bother them. They're I don't even know the word, but they're able to get out into the world and make money. Yeah. Quite easily. Is that No. Is that being an entrepreneur? No.
An entrepreneur is somebody who takes enterprise upon themselves and creates work and creates an industry almost, creates a whole genre for themselves.
Maybe not entrepreneur, but it's somebody who essentially can bring in money, and doesn't matter if they don't know what they're doing tomorrow.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. It's probably too harsh, but you know what I mean. And those people are probably more likely to start new things and do new things, and there's people out there that prefer to be safe.
Yep.
And that's when the safe people, and I say that, as for lack of better words, when the safe people start asking those questions, can I make a change? They want to be 100% sure. So all those little reasons why they shouldn't, they've got to answer those questions before they actually take that jump, that leap. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jared. And I think as long as the answer comes back and it isn't because I'm too scared, then it might be valid. But if it's no, because I could fail, it's too hard. Well, and there's nothing wrong with being afraid, by the way, everybody. We all have fear. Even the biggest, scariest animal can be afraid of something.
Yeah.
But for us, we've got so much opportunity. You're born with human consciousness, which is the most incredible thing, I think. What a gift. I think you're in a position to use it. And, there are so many things to be afraid of, so we can't let that rule our lives, surely.
I think a lot of it is, when I'm thinking of it now, the fear of failure is a big one. And I mean, you say, it shouldn't be that, but come on, we don't like failing. it's you might be able to sit there and say that.
You get used to it, Jarad.
You and your castle of gold. No. Sorry. That was
No, it's true.
That was a terrible joke.
No, it's great.
It just looks funny. The vision I'm seeing here is just like, but
it's our in-joke, Jarad, that the whole world is involved in. I love it.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's true. You get used to it.
Yeah, but there is that. I mean, let's be honest, no one likes it. It's not a nice feeling. And, I suppose it's like you say, you've got to get used to failing. And I mean, I've heard all through my life, people that have been successful have failed many more times, and, I don't know, I haven't got the numbers right, but, I always think of, Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's like, I've missed 29,000 shots in my career, to make, that amount,
Yeah.
So all those are failures.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it in life, and you got to take that step, and to take that winning step, you actually have to fail. Maybe. I don't know. Like, it seems logical.
It's a very rare person that can have success straight off the mark.
Yeah.
Very rare. Yeah. As long as you keep getting back up. And, when I started my cryptocurrency, I was like, oh God, what if this goes nowhere? And I thought, well, nothing else I've done has gone anywhere. You know what I mean? So I was like,
kind of be where you were anyway.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's right. I'll just be a little bit older.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, just do what you want to do.
You had the experience. Like,
yeah.
Experience is a big thing for me. Like, that is a learning process.
I love the saying though, and it makes fun of people like you and me. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want.
Right. And here I am going, experience the experience. You
you do that.
You do that. You're the biggest loser in the world.
But look, going back to, is it ever too late to start something? Let's look at the practical things. How do you start something new?
I haven't got look, I'm not going to have this great answer out there, but everyone's different, yeah? Like, some people will just go out and spend a massive amount of money on all the equipment they can do. Say they want to run a marathon, or say they want to do something physical. They buy all the equipment so they can train for it. Whereas somebody, then they start, and then they got everything they ever need. And some people just, if it's walk a mile, they find a pair of shoes in the garbage, and then they start walking. Like, everyone's different, yeah? Like, everyone has that sort of, whatever makes them feel safe to go into that new space.
Well, let's look at our example. We started something completely new last year, this podcast.
Yes.
I know you'd had some podcasting experience in the past before with a couple of friends, but I'd never done it. Mm-hmm. And for me, the biggest thing was just the infrastructure you need to set up around it. And the biggest thing is time.
Yeah.
You need to carve out a bit of time every week.
Yeah.
To set up a room,
or
in this case, a junk-filled garage, to tell your family that, you're going off.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you need to do.
Yeah.
So as you get older, time just gets away from you, doesn't it? I think that's one of the biggest obstacles.
It is. And that was one of the big things, like you said, for us, was, hey, we want to do it. We've got an idea, but to sit down for half an hour and have a chat we need a lot more time. Like, you have to dedicate, if we are meeting, so one of us has to drive to where we are.
Yeah. Or
if we're both meeting somewhere. So essentially this half an hour chat is probably a 3-hour sort of round.
Yep. And then there's the editing afterwards.
And then you've got your editing. There's the socials. Yeah, the socials, the updating. So this new thing that we do has just added up to quite a bit of work. And, I suppose we enjoy it, so we do it. So that's part of the new thing. If we didn't enjoy it, then we'd be like, oh, you know what? Are we going to still keep going along with this?
What's the point?
And it's new things. Sometimes are unexpected when you there's a lot of unexpected things that happen whilst you're doing these new things.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm like, yeah, we can just have a chat for half an hour. Yeah. But you've got to realize everything that we've done, that we do. So.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to share with our audience who might be considering trying something new,
Yep.
the kind of things that they'll need to think about. So really it's time, but we didn't, it's not like we found time. We had to remove other parts of our lives in order to do this. So that's a big thing. And so you can do that a couple of ways. You can either find more time by stopping doing something else, or you can do things more efficiently.
Sleep less.
That's another thing. But I'm trying to get more done in my life because, I've got so many hobbies, so many projects, my crypto project, I've got this, I've got the homeschooling with the kids.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of things to do. So for me, it's about working more efficiently.
No, definitely. It's a big thing. And if you, the time is important. So if you start something new and you completely underestimated the time, there's a good chance that something new might not fail, but you may lose a little bit of gusto behind it, and then because it hasn't got that foundation yet in your life.
And that's where I was going next, actually, Jared, the whole gusto thing.
Yeah.
Because really, how much do we do that's just based on like that initial whim, that emotion at the beginning? I've seen sports players who, for example, in tennis, they go on this run of winning a few games but they can't close out the set. That, they get this bit of emotion, the crowd gets behind them, but emotion can't sustain you, can it?
And that last serve, that last point that they have to get to win the set. They can't. Yeah, you're right.
But passion isn't going to keep things alive unless you've actually sustaining it with other things. For example, we're not doing this purely out of love. We're doing this purely... We started it with love, but it's logic and the logistics of the whole situation is sustaining it, isn't it? So if you've got a great idea, if you've got something that you really want to try, that's fantastic. But it's going to take a little bit more than that.
Yes,
that one leap of faith, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. And going back to this is now has a foundation in my life. So this is part of my. At the moment, like this is part of what I'm doing. So, and that's the important part, and that'll keep you going. Because if you don't have those roots set, you will, that passion, like I said, will only take you so far.
Yeah.
So during the time of conception, you need to, think about these things and think about how it'll affect your life, and so you can sustain this new hobby, this new thing that you're doing.
And you know what? That comes back to what we talked about last year a lot, which is self-knowledge. You've got to know how you're going to react to that.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking of our friend here who did bring this topic up with us. Is it ever too late to start something? Because he was going for a change. And what he's looking at doing, and I don't want to reveal anything about it because, he didn't give us permission, but he really loves what he's trying to head into.
Yes.
And it's been like a whole breath of fresh air for him.
Yeah.
So...
definitely.
It's really a worthwhile pursuit. It's going to take a lot to set up, but anyone out there who's in the same situation, how do you think you'll react to this?
Watching what's happening from the outside as well is like having a courtside seat and being able to even have some input is really cool as well. It's
I believe you inspired a lot of it, actually. He did give you credit.
Yeah, he has told me that a couple of our conversations were. Hopefully, I've helped. But look, I mean, it's something that I recognised in a good friend of ours that needed to be said, and hopefully, he finds his happy place. Yeah, I think he's on his way.
So let's talk about the inevitable, which is the failure. Not necessarily failure, actually, but, things don't always go as you expect. You don't get the fireworks, you might not get that job, you expected things to be bigger than they actually are, and it doesn't quite amount to what you wanted. You've got to deal with that, don't you? That disappointment.
You do.
And this is where the passion, isn't enough. What have you got now?
Well, you've almost got a grieving period. Well, you have got a grieving period. And I'll throw another thing there. What happens if collectively or individually, so you might be doing something with someone else or with a group. What if one person loses interest, and what if all loses interest? Or what if, you're doing something and it's just a loss of interest? It's not, you didn't fail.
Yeah.
you just stop doing it.
Yeah.
Or, it became too hard to do. I suppose it's another form of failure. I suppose that's when the passion runs out.
Yeah.
And you almost question of why am I bothering now? I think everybody has gone through that in different ways. I mean, that was part of a feeling that I would have had when I finished up playing rugby, it was like, well, why am I doing this anymore? I had the passion and I had it for a long time. And, that was one aspect of my life where I think that was part of my decision. I was like, I've got other things to do.
Yeah.
And, there's been things that I can think of in my life that I've done that I've had that feeling. And, I think that's what happens because I'm a pretty safe guy. So having, going out on a limb isn't my thing.
Yeah.
So everything I do is pretty safe.
Yeah.
But when I do stop doing it, it's almost like it just ran out of petrol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't crash and burn.
Yeah.
I just ran out of petrol.
Yeah.
On a road next to a petrol station, and I'll refill if I need to.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. So, but I can think. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm thinking you might have things in your life that may have occurred and I think everyone would have had that.
Definitely, yeah. It's not everything is going to last forever.
Mm.
And even that new idea of yours that's so fresh, and maybe it wasn't the best idea, but you had to try it.
Yeah.
Really. Something I really love is surfing, but I haven't done it for a long time. Since COVID started back in March 2020 for us in Australia, my surfing just dropped off, and I just never got back into it.
Yeah.
In the same way, I only surf on holidays pretty much now. And I got out of routine. That's all it was. And then my gym membership expired, and I got out of routine of that.
It's really hard to get back into those sort of things,
Yeah.
Like once you've reached a point of, and forgive me for if I'm putting words in your mouth or whatever, but once you reach a point of, I've done this, I've surfed, I'm using that as an example.
Yeah, sure.
I've surfed, I've got to the point where I need to be, probably the highest level I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Or want to be.
Yeah.
Then you lose your routine.
Yeah.
Where's the drive to go back to there? Is there a drive?
Yeah. Look, there is, but there's other things that are driving me even more.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So it's about life priorities changing. But I think the hardest bit, Jared, is that first step. Because you really need to know how much commitment you need to put into that and how far you're willing to go. And when I started writing, I read a book that said it could take you decades before you make it. Are you willing to try that? And I was like, yep, I'm in.
Wow.
I was young enough and ballsy enough to try.
What if you read that now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I read that now, I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Ooh, where are we going to be in
Decades
decades?
is like 20 years. I'll be 60.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too long. But at the time, I was like, yes, because if I don't do it, it means that because if I don't do it, it means that I'm afraid. And for me, fear isn't a good thing.
Fear isn't a thing.
Yeah, fear is okay.
Yeah.
But letting it rule me is not okay.
And you've said that.
Yeah.
You've said
Exactly.
that. And that was, you can tell. It's funny, I just thought of it then when you said decades, you went 20 years. And I'm like, decades could be like 90 years, So I'm in my head going, 40 years from here? You're like the best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 20 years.
Exactly.
And it's just funny, the way that I was thinking and you, anyway.
But 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so for you for example, to learn how to surf, are you willing to, get cold in winter, buy a wetsuit, be really uncomfortable putting it on,
Yep.
getting out there in the white water and paddling and, looking really bad, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that to get to a certain level? And if you're like, yep, I love it that much, fantastic.
And if you've already, if you've already been there and coming back into it is tough, but the initial start is just, it's just like, you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware because you can fail at that first step.
Yep.
Getting up that first step and going, oh, actually, this is pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a level where people pull the pin already. Whether it be, this is more of a financial burden than I thought, or this is more of a time burden, or this isn't just, this isn't all it's cracked up to be, you know. And you know, some people, you got to have patience too, you know. Like you can't just buy a surfboard and then ride the wave.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
There's a lot more to it.
Yep, you need conditioning, for example.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's for everything. So
I like what you said just then, and just tying it back to your Michael Jordan comment about you know, his thousands of missed shots. Yeah. Most of life isn't the highlight reel.
Mm.
Most of life is, you know, it's driving to show up. It's doing all the boring stuff. Yeah. And the highlights package lasts, what, a couple of seconds?
I'll tell you something. As people know, if you listen, I do a bit of paranormal investigating. I've sat in buildings for 8 hours. The cold, the dust, the dirt, hungry, your stomach growing, like middle of the night. From, you know, 8 hours all night, I should be asleep. You capture 3 seconds of something that shouldn't be there. That's your highlight reel. But it's the same thing. You know, you're like, wow, that's amazing, but that's the pinnacle. But you have to do the 8 hours. Yeah. And yeah, are you willing to do that? You know, for something that you want to do? Yeah, maybe. But I don't reckon you would do it, or you know, the person, you know, anyone in my family wouldn't do it. You know, so none of my friends would. Yeah, but that's just my little passion. So I suppose there's a combination of things to make a new thing work.
I think the lesson there, Jarad, is that life is a grind. Everything's a grind.
Yep. And
if we can produce that spark, that's enough.
The flicker of a light.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it is, isn't it?
Yep. 100%. It's like the, you just keep, just the lighter lighting. You know, like keep trying until finally the little bit of fire kicks off. You know?
Keep smacking those rocks together. I know. Look, next week I'm hoping we move on to another topic about, you know, your luck changing.
Yep. And sounds good.
Yeah, I just realised we're out of time and I wanted to move on to that. Yeah. But just to give a little prelude to next week's episode, it's all about starting that fire, isn't it? And you've got to persist.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just rub a little bit here, let it cool down, rub a little bit again over here.
Walk away.
Exactly. You've just got to keep going until that spark becomes a flame.
Yep. And then you got to fuel it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Keep fanning those flames. Jarad, thank you so much for sustaining this podcast. The thing that keeps me going is our friendship, the fact that we get to connect with so many people, and the fact that we've heard from so many people that we wouldn't have otherwise heard from. So I got a message from one of our dear friends from high school. You know, he was the halfback in the team. I was a 5'8". So we had a pretty good relationship, actually. And we've always been friends, but we never see each other, of course.
Yeah.
But I'll always consider him a friend, and it's always lovely to hear from him. So you know who you are. So thanks for contacting me. It's lovely.
Yeah, same thing. He messaged me, and he listens every week. So yeah, he knows who he is on his drive home. Yeah. G'day, mate.
And, you know, our friend in Port Macquarie, who I said I'd consider her a friend if she lived closer here. Yeah. I sent her our new artwork just out of interest. I thought, you know, she might like to know that we're still around. And she said, oh, funny, I was listening to you this morning. I was like, what? You still listen?
That's weird, eh?
So thank you to everybody for sustaining us. You know, this has been a real passion project for us, but it's been you that's been fueling the fire, really. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Please continue to show your support by sharing and liking our stuff on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Share this with anybody you think might get something out of it. We're just two old guys just sharing a friendship, and we hope that we can connect with more people. So thank you so much. Thanks, Jarad.
Thanks, mate. Bye.